Reece's hope of finding Trinity had dwindled to almost nothing. A tip led him and Noah to a Denver motel, where a nervous receptionist confirmed Trinity had been there, leaving hours earlier with an Eastern European man. Caleb, their enemy, sprang to mind. They chased the lead south, only to hit another dead end. The motel was a setup. Someone was toying with them. Why? What did they want? And where was Trinity? Was she safe? Or was she already lost, changed? How could Reece fight an unseen enemy? And what if he was too late? Trinity, still in captivity, longs for her alpha to come and rescue her. As she lays there half-conscious, she wonders why she is being targeted by the warlocks, and what is the conflict between wolves and the warlocks, and the most important of them all, when did it all begin? The feud between the warlocks and the wolves began long before written history, in an era when both groups were united by the ancient forces that shaped the world. Magic was abundant, flowing freely through the earth, the air, and the blood of those who were blessed or cursed with the ability to wield it. But what started as a partnership between two powerful species soon unraveled, leading to one of the bloodiest conflicts in supernatural history. It began with a betrayal. The wolves were the guardians of the land, protectors of the natural world. They were bound to the earth, their strength drawn from the cycles of the moon and the wilderness they called home. The warlocks, on the other hand, were seekers of knowledge, wielders of the arcane arts who sought to master the mysteries of life and death. Together, they balanced one another, with the wolves ensuring the warlocks did not overstep their bounds, and the warlocks lending their wisdom to the wolves' brute strength. The harmony shattered when a young warlock named Azriel, consumed by his ambition, defied the laws of nature. He sought immortality, not through the natural cycle of rebirth, but by stealing the life force of others. Azriel's experiments became darker and more grotesque as he targeted weaker beings, draining their vitality to extend his own life. At first, the wolves turned a blind eye. Azriel was an outlier, an aberration among his kind. But when wolves began disappearing, warriors, elders, and even cubs, their patience ran out. The alpha of that time, a fearsome wolf named Kieran, confronted the Council of Warlocks. The council, led by High Magus Alaric, denied any involvement. They claimed Azriel was a rogue, acting without their knowledge or consent. But Kieran was not convinced. The bodies of wolves, some in their human forms, others trapped mid-shift, were strung up like trophies. Their life force had been siphoned, leaving behind withered husks. Azriel himself was gone, but the evidence of his crimes was undeniable. Enraged, Kieran demanded justice. The warlocks, however, refused to hand over Azriel. They argued that he was their responsibility, that they would deal with him in their own way. But Kieran had already lost faith in their promises. The Alpha declared war. The first blood feud was devastating. The wolves, driven by their fury and grief, unleashed their full strength upon the warlocks. Villages were burned, sacred sites desecrated, and countless lives lost on both sides. The warlocks, though fewer in number, were cunning and ruthless. They used their magic to create traps, illusions, and deadly curses that turned the wolves' strength against them. In one of the most infamous battles, the warlocks summoned a tempest that decimated an entire pack. The storm raged for 3 days, leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. The wolves retaliated by infiltrating the warlocks' sanctuaries, tearing through their defenses with a ferocity born of despair. But the warlocks had one final weapon. Desperate to end the war, Alaric and his council created a powerful artifact known as the Veilstone. This enchanted relic allowed them to trap wolves in their human forms, stripping them of their ability to shift. With the Veilstone, the warlocks gained the upper hand, capturing and imprisoning entire packs. For a time, it seemed the wolves might be wiped out. But then, Kieran made a fateful decision. The Alpha knew he could not defeat the Veilstone with brute force. He turned to an ancient forbidden ritual. They stood in a sacred circle, their voices raised in a haunting chant. The air crackled with energy as the spirits answered their call. The price for their aid was steep. The spirits demanded a life, a sacrifice of Kieran's bloodline. Without hesitation, Kieran offered himself. The ritual unleashed a torrent of power, flooding through Kieran and his pack. Their howls echoed across the land, as they charged into the Warlock's stronghold, their strength unmatched. The Veilstone shattered beneath Kieran's claws, and the tides of the war turned. But Kieran did not survive the battle. As the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, the Alpha collapsed, his body consumed by the energy he had channeled. His pack mourned their loss, but their victory was undeniable. The Warlocks, now vulnerable, sued for peace. A truce was forged, though it was fraught with tension and mistrust. The wolves withdrew to their territories, while the Warlocks retreated into secrecy, vowing never to meddle in the natural order again. But the wounds of the First Blood feud ran deep. For centuries, the wolves and warlocks coexisted in an uneasy peace, their histories marked by bitterness and betrayal. The Veilstone's fragments were scattered, hidden in places where neither wolves nor warlocks could find them. In the present day, Trinity, who all her life felt ignored and insignificant, has become the most significant piece in the puzzle of the wolves versus warlocks history. But the question remains, why? If the Veilstone was real, what else from the old stories might still be out there? And what would happen if the delicate balance between wolves and warlocks were broken once again? Why is Trinity in the midst of all this? Is she a piece herself, or is she just caught in the crossfires? And what about Reece? What role does he have in this dramatic history? Will he find his Luna?
I am Trinity. Want to know what happens next? Then click the link in the description below and download the Pocket FM app and listen to the exciting episodes of Chosen by Fate, Rejected by the Alpha,